Hey, what's up? It's Spencer back again with a waiver wire pickup video for week 5. This is before the Monday night game, but typically people are already hurting. They're already trying to pick up players for next week. So here we are making the video. Obviously, if something crazy happens tonight, then we'll have to take that into account. But that being said, I'm going to be using my 12-team half PPR redraft league for this video. Obviously, if you have fewer teams, more teams, it's going to look different. But at least it gives you a realistic view as to who's actually available. And we're just going through sleepers trend lines, so players trending up, basically getting more traction, and players trending down, people are dropping them more. Anyway, that being said, let's take a look. Number 1, we have Jaleel McLaughlin. It's tough because the Denver Broncos are a really bad offense, but he's getting the workload in the absence of Jameson Williams. And obviously we have, a lot of RB injuries or underperforming RBs. So if you're hurting for an RB, I'd go out there and get Jaleel. It's going to be, sought after this week, but I personally wouldn't put more than like 10-15% of your fab. This isn't a Kyren Williams situation on the Rams where he's going to go be like a top 5, top 10 RB. So that's my take on Jaleel. Next up, we have Michael Wilson. I was able to get him last week off waivers for $0 because he hadn't done a whole lot this year, but obviously he popped off last week with the 2 touchdowns. I think Michael Wilson is a good pickup, but it's tough because Arizona is also a very wild offense. Like, how can you trust playing them week to week? He's kind of like a boom or bust flex player until there's more data on him. Like, maybe he continues this trend, but looked like a good week even without the touchdowns. I think he got 7 receptions for 70 yards. So yeah, I would go out there, similar situation, maybe spend up a little more because Michael Wilson's a little more established as the wide receiver 2 at this point in the offense. So I could see it going maybe 15 to 20%, but I wouldn't fault you for sticking around 10%, 15% fab. Next up, CJ Stroud. Now, he's rostered in 55% of leagues. He was already kind of popping off weeks 1 through 3. So, yeah, I don't know if he's available in all leagues. He's already rostered in mine. But in a 1 QB league, I don't know if I'm really going out there and spending a lot of fab dollars when you can go get, for example, Baker Mayfield put up 23.9 points. So you can play the streaming option. Stroud looks good and could be a starter week to week, but you could also I like to stream quarterbacks in my league. So I'm rocking Russell Wilson. But yeah, CJ Stroud up there, if he's available, I would get him. Jonnu Smith. I mean, the Falcons passing game looks terrible. It's tough to say to go out there and pick up Jonnu Smith with any large amount of fab dollars. I think I would just reserve it for a 3 to 5% range. Let's look at his stats really quick. So, he had a decent game with 6 receptions for 95 yards. If he falls into the end zone, he's looking super strong. I don't know. It's just hard to trust any receiver in the Falcons offense, but if you're super strapped to tight end, because I think that's a similar situation with RBs where you draft Pat Freiermuth or Dallas Goedert or one of these guys, and it's just okay, I need production somewhere. So yeah, I go throw 3 to 5% fab on this guy. We have a few other tight ends in that same situation. Jake Ferguson, Cole Kmet. Might as well just lump them all together. Again, it was very boom for some of these guys. Jake Ferguson, similar stories, 7 receptions, 77 receiving yards. And then Cole Kmet, 7 receptions, 85 yards, and he got the 2 touchdowns. So, who would have thought Cole Kmet would be number 4 tight end on the year? Probably no one. It's not a guy that you can trust week in, week out. I don't know. If you're hurting at tight end, there are all the options besides Kelsey. Even Mark Andrews was kind of rough. It's kind of Kelsey, maybe Hawkinson. He had maybe a down week. So I think outside of those options, they're all kind of the same to me. They're all sort of touchdown dependent or boom dependent, playing a bad defense, just getting hyper targeted. So anyway, that being said, all the tight ends you can kind of throw 3%, 5%. I wouldn't go spending crazy on these guys like Cole Kmet. Dobbs is in here at the 7th trending up player. Obviously, he just has this like consistent 15 points and a half PPR like week in, week out, other than against the Falcons, which we know the Falcons defense is very strong this year, surprisingly. But that being said, the production's hard to ignore. 13 targets this week, 12 targets last week. I think this is, potentially wide receiver 1 until proven otherwise. I know it's a hot take, but like, if you look over here at Christian Watson, he comes back, obviously off injury, only 4 targets, saves his fantasy day on a sort of weird touchdown that he got that was like sort of like a broken play or something. So it's a little concerning with Christian Watson. I think that when you look at his last year's performance, he was like this super boom week kind of guy where he'd get like, 4 catches and like a touchdown, and it was just insane. Like if we go back here, like, 4 catches, 3 touchdowns, 4 catches, 2 like just getting in the end zone on these super long plays where he catches like 1 catch for like 60 yards and a touchdown. Like it was insanity. So I just don't know if that like trend line is repeatable this year. And I think just having the rapport with Love and Dobbs, watch out, man. This could be, a super strong pickup if he's available in your league. But again, 62%. I think I would go up there and try and grab him for like 30% fab at this point because he seems like a solid like wide receiver 2 fringe, wide receiver 1 as his ceiling. Let's do a few more here. So we got Khalil Herbert, 66%. I mean, he had a super boom week. Hard to start like any Bears offensive player. Like I don't know anyone on the Bears, anyone on the Broncos. It's all the same to me. He's still somehow not number 22 wide receiver, running back overall. So, hey, I mean, RBs, you're hurting for him. Go out there, spend 10%, get this guy. J-Mo coming back off suspension. The Lions, though, have been making it work with some of these other guys like Josh Reynolds. And so I like Jameson Williams. I mean, I doubt he's on your waivers because he was draftable in like, let me see what round I got him in the 10th round. So highly doubt he's on waivers. But yeah, if for some reason he is, go ahead and grab him. Finally, we got some QBs, Josh Dobbs, Mitch Trubisky. I mean, Josh Dobbs is actually like kind of an interesting pickup because like even against the San Francisco defense, he's putting up 23 points. So like in the face of this adversity with the defense, he's throwing the ball like 41 times, right? He's getting the touchdowns. I don't know. He could be a good streaming option just playing the matchup, like super good matchup next week. I don't think Cincinnati is very good this year because of the injury to Joe Burrow. Maybe they turn it around, but like they're probably going to be on defense a lot in this game. And so Dobbs might have a day. So if you need a quarterback for like 1 week, Dobbs might be a big pickup. You could probably get him for fairly cheap. I wouldn't even spend maybe like 2%, like 1%. Go out there, throw $1 on him, get him. I'm not going to cover kickers, but Trubisky, not worth picking up. The guy is just not good. They're facing the Ravens. Nothing good about the situation. If he goes and drops 30, you can come back and say I told you so, but there's no way I'm ever starting Trubisky when you can go get like Dobbs. You can go get Baker Mayfield or somewhere on this list. Bro, I'm about spiciest take. I would rather start Zach Wilson after his performance last night against the Broncos defense than go out and start Mitch Trubisky, who hasn't played at all in a long time and also looked bad whenever he did and playing the Ravens. So I'll end it on that take, bro. Zach Wilson is a streaming option going into Denver. I don't know if that's going to come back and bite me, but if he goes and gets a 19-point performance, I'd consider that a dub. But you have to be really hurting to start Zach Wilson because you have just better options like Dobbs potentially out there. But hey, I'll leave you with that just because it's a fun take. This is my league. This is what is available here. Overall, I don't think there's a ton of league winners in here. You most likely don't want to be spending more than like 15% on most of these guys at the most. And yeah, go out there and leave a comment down below. Tell me what your waivers look like. Tell me who you're eyeballing. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video, and like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. See you next video.